W's and L's, a weekly recap show where we give a dub to the things that we like and an L to the things that we don't. Hey, by the way, shout out to Breck Warren for being like literally the only person, from what I can tell, that reads the intro cards. I make those every week, so, shout out to him for actually reading those. Anyway, the first dub that I'm giving out is to Charlamagne the God. Apparently, Charlamagne got the letter on Jonathan Majors, and he is actually out here saying what he needs to say about Homeboy. Let's take a look.
Pull up the Jonathan Majors story.
I thought he was found guilty.
You see, that's y'all problem.
It's like partially guilty.
No, he was.
But see, that's the problem I have with this whole conversation. People lead with headlines instead of actually looking at the details of the situation. Now, this click on what actually happened in court this past week. Jury, click on the CNN one. Jury finds Jonathan Majors guilty of assault and harassment. Now, when you hear that, what do you think?
Well, they said over her fingernail. Yeah.
But when you hear it, what do you like? It's over her fingernail. He was accused of twisting her arm, punching her in the back of the head.
Yeah, but he was only guilty of hurting her finger.
That's my point. So the larger charge of twisting her arm, punching her in the back of the head, he was found not guilty of. Essentially, what he got two misdemeanors. He got found guilty of two misdemeanors. Pull up the article back up, Taylor.
Seems to me that Charlamagne is pretty well versed on what happened with the Jonathan Majors situation, and for somebody who gets it right sometimes and gets it wrong sometimes, shout out to him for getting this absolutely right and doing the apparent research, because whoever his co-host is there didn't also do the research. She kind of seemed a little lost. But regardless, shout out to bro. Also, speaking of Jonathan Majors, bro is out in LA with Megan Good. So apparently things are still going well with Megan Good, which is great because, honestly speaking, Megan Good could at any point have just said, you know what, this is just a little too much for me. I think I'm going to be out. Especially with all the pressure that she's getting from social media. A lot of people seem to think that he probably shouldn't be with her. They probably shouldn't be together because apparently he's a accused woman beater and all that stuff. So shout out to her for holding him down. And like I said, they're going out to LA together and I don't know, supposedly having a good time. So shout out to them. My next dub is going to Dave Chappelle. I don't know if any of you have seen already, but he's already dropped his special, The Dreamer. And I've seen about the first 10 minutes of it. Funny stuff. Absolutely funny stuff. Not that anybody should expect any different. And I'm sure there's going to be some controversy around it, just like there was the last few specials that he's had. But shout out to Netflix for putting out another good Netflix special from Dave Chappelle from what I've seen. Like I said, I've seen it. Seems funny. I've seen the first 10 minutes. Seems funny. And I'm happy to see Dave back. So if you get any time after the live, and before you go out for New Year's, I suggest it. Go ahead and watch it. All right, my next dub is going to this librarian who seems to be insanely passionate about people getting their library cards.
You have your library card tattooed on you, right? No? Well, you must at least have a library card, yes? Still no? What? You know what? That's okay, because that just means you probably don't know that having fun isn't hard when you've got a library card. There's something at the library for everyone.
First of all, that's a bar. I just want to point that out, that is absolutely a bar. Having fun isn't hard when you've got a library card. That's a bar.
Bars! There's something at the library for everyone. Library kids, library grown-ups, library people. Of course, we've got books. I'm a book pusher. I'm a library card pusher. We've got books. We've got ebooks. We've got audiobooks through Libby and Hoopla. We've got manga. We've got graphic novels. We've got comic books. We've got biographies.
Comic book people, they got comic books. They got manga. Just saying, they got graphic novels.
We've got sci-fi, we've got thrillers, we've got young adult fiction, we've got juvenile fiction, we've got beautiful picture books. But if you're not a bookworm, which you can be, you're capable of it, we've got something for you too. We've got musical.
All right, you get the gist. Fam is doing a whole ass ad for libraries. And shout out to him because, again, he seems super passionate about making sure that you have your library card. And obviously these kids today need a library card because being iPad kids is just not it. They need to read a fucking book for once. But worse than that, as you can see here, people think that this guy is absolutely weird, which fuck that guy for absolutely calling him weird. But he's been getting so much backlash over the fact that he's just so passionate about reading, having your library card, and going to the library that he had to put out this.
Some of the comments in this Twitter thread are some of the cruelest things I've read in a very long time. Saying things about me like, dude's a freak for real, making fun of my voice, my mannerisms, the way that I retell the wonderful library stories I encounter, and some other awful things I'm just not going to repeat because they don't need to be heard by anybody. I don't even honestly believe you should go see this Twitter thread. It's that awful. I'm only saying this, and they've also some people who came to my defense said things like, he's autistic, leave him alone. He's autistic. I'm not autistic. There's nothing wrong with being autistic. I think autistic people are some of the coolest on the planet. I love conversations with my autistic library friends. I have so much library love for them. I look forward to conversations with them each time they visit the library. I am talking about this because I want people to remember that sometimes people have their worst day. They are really struggling in life. And sometimes what that results in is they say very mean, very cruel things about other people, which is not okay. It's not okay to say mean, cruel things about people. But I hope you remember, as I'm trying to remember, that when people are really suffering, sometimes they resort to meanness, cruelty, because that's what they feel about themselves. And I hope those people have a much better day tomorrow. I hope they experience kindness. I hope they experience joy. I hope they remember that they still belong at the library. I hope better days are ahead of them. I hope you are doing okay. Yes.
Fam, let me get this straight. Y'all trying to get this guy the fuck out of here? What is wrong with y'all? He seems like the most pleasant person trying to spread the positivity of having a library card. And y'all want to get him the fuck out of here? Y'all need Jesus. There's nothing else to say. Y'all want to get him the fuck out of here? I would hate to see what y'all would say about Levar Burton and Reading Rainbow. Jesus Christ. All he wants to do is make sure y'all got a library card. And he's being called weird and autistic. I do belong to the school of, if you don't like the bullying, just get the fuck off the internet. But at the same time, it shouldn't come to that, especially over something as small as him being passionate. Come on now, shut up. I don't get it. I don't understand it. But definitely deserving of an L to anybody who has anything to say about my boy. But he deserves a W because of the positivity that he just exudes. I like that. And the positive message of getting out there and reading books, enjoying the library. Because I'm sure the library is absolutely dying right now due to the internet and everything else. But shout out to him, man. Shout out to him.
Okay, this motherfucker reading books and shit.
So there's a couple of L's involving this situation here. Jalen Milroe is the quarterback for the Alabama Crimson Tide. Black quarterback who has probably seen just as many stories as this one story that he's about to tell. But apparently, during his time with the Crimson Tide, he had this to say about his time.
Shoot, all my life, even when I was in college, my own offensive coordinator, Bill O'Brien, told me I shouldn't play quarterback. So, there's a lot of things I can, have motivation on, and that is something I have motivation from.
What was your reaction to Bill O'Brien telling you that you shouldn't play quarterback? Do you remember how you felt when he said that?
How would you feel if I told you you suck?
Probably wouldn't like it.
Okay then, so that's exactly how I felt, you know what I'm saying? So biggest thing for me, be true to myself and, stay the same. Nothing changed about me. Only thing that changed me was I had the opportunity and I seized it.
Great on him for taking that stance on it. And again, I couldn't even imagine how many black quarterbacks have had the exact same experience happen to them. Guys like Lamar Jackson and Colin Kaepernick and Patrick Mahomes. And I'm sure there's plenty of black quarterbacks out there who have experienced the exact same thing. Shout out to him for having a positive mindset. Shout out to him for making the playoffs. He's going to play against Michigan, which, by the way, not only am I giving an L to Bill O'Brien for saying that to Jalen Milroe, a kid, but I'm also giving an L to Michigan offensive coordinator Sherrone Moore. That's right, Marcus. I know you're watching. Michigan's offensive coordinator, Sharon Moore, had this to say in response to the story that Jalen Milroe just said. Really, I don't see color. My wife is Caucasian. My kids are mixed. I deal with black and white. I've lived in Kansas where you can be in the house with the door open at 12, and in New Jersey where you have to be in the house by 6 o'clock. I've seen all cards of the spectrum. Let me get a full cam so you can see the frustration in my face. Nigga, what? What the hell does your Caucasian wife have to do with the experience that Jalen Milroe experienced? What does your white wife and your mixed kids have to do with anything? First of all, really, I don't see color. You know some bullshit is about to come out of somebody's mouth when they say I don't see color. Now, usually that person is white. But the fact that Sharon Moore came out here and said, I don't see color, my wife is white, so I don't see color. Fam, that's great and all, but that has nothing to do with Jalen Milroe and his situation with Bill O'Brien. Maybe there's some more context out there to what he said, but that paragraph is nasty. Absolutely nasty. Fam, if you don't got nothing to say about the situation, shut the fuck up. Shut the fuck up. Shut the hell up. All right, next L is going to none other than DJ Akademiks. Yeah, DJ Akademiks is having an absolutely terrible time with women. And he deserves this L. In fact, I'm giving him 2 L's. First of all, this situation that he describes on his own podcast.
Shaming her now. I'm shaming her. I said to her, yo, I'm going to keep it a bean with you, bro. You came to my house and had 2 niggas just fuck you raw. I ain't seen no condom, no none. I said, yo, you should go get tested, man. Like, you done. I said, that's wild, yo. You should go get.
First of all, this is a wild start to the story, but we'll get to the context a little bit later.
Tested, bro. And from that moment, she started, like, because the denial shifted, and she kept, like, trying to, like, pivot on the denial to, yo, nah, send me the video. Yo, I'm pretty sure I didn't fuck him. And I'm like, bro, you fucked him. And she was like, no, look again. And now I'm getting super tight because I'm like, bro, I'm not about to watch this video if you getting fucked, my nigga. Like, it's on my surveillance. Like, bro, like, I was fucking with you. Like, what, you want me to watch the video if you getting fucked? Cool. She keeps saying that, whatever. She then tells me, by the way, I ain't gonna lie, and I'm gonna keep it a being about everything. My homies did not tell me they fucked her. At that point, I only seen on my security cam. My homies did not tell. Remember, they woke me up that night. Yo, let us out. Let us out the crib, or lock the crib. They did not tell me they fucked the bitch that came for me.
Obviously, he's having some weird shit going on in his house. I can't even explain half of the shit that he was just talking about. However, he does go on to say, and I'm not going to play this in full, but he does go on to say that that same girl supposedly stole $500,000 from him, which is nuts.
Let me tell you, this is going to be the most egregious thing, I swear. This is going to be the most egregious thing, and if she actually denies this, I got all the proof. I could have had this woman in jail for 40 years. Are y'all listening to me? For 40 years. This is how forgiving I am, and this is why y'all going to call me a simp, and I'm going to take it. Chat. There's a point. I don't know more. So for all y'all niggas who think y'all got it, y'all just gonna come get a different result. There's a time I used to have $1 million cash in my crib. That's a fact. Do you know this bitch stole $500,000 from me? Cat.
Fam, Jesus. First of all, why do you keep $1 million in your crib? Second of all, why are you telling your chat, unless it's cap, why are you telling your chat that you keep $1 million in your house? But again, why do you keep $1 million in cash at your crib? Second of all, how does she have access to $500,000 that she could just steal? And how did you not recognize it until sometime later when he supposedly counted his cash with a new money counter and realized it was only $400K? Now, I will admit, I think that part of it is cap. I don't think fam has $1 million cash. I don't see why anybody would just have $1 million cash sitting at their crib. That just doesn't make any sense to me. But if this story is true, you're an idiot. You're an idiot. That's why you got 500K stole from you, because you're an absolute idiot. I don't believe he had $1 million either. I don't believe that either. Now, the first story, I would not have laughed at this originally because some stuff came out separate of this, and I'm going to go over some of it. But I didn't know how all of this fell together. And so after doing some research, I feel comfortable laughing at this part because this next part is super egregious. And if true, this nigga needs to be locked up immediately.
Crazy right now, but I'm not going to stand here and let this man continue to lie about me. That's not what happened, Academics. You know that that's not what happened. And for you to pretend that you didn't do anything, like we didn't know each other for 2 years, you tried to save yourself after your friends assaulted me. Whether or not you got drunk or not, I know that when you woke up, you were on top of me too. You raped me too, and a rape kit was done. You know what? I'm gonna come back with my own story. This what you wanted, and you're about to get it. I've been quiet for way too long.
So now we're talking about some very serious things here. And for context purposes, from what I've researched, the thing that she's talking about was from like sometime last year. And the thing that he talked about 2 videos ago was from earlier this year or some shit. All of these are accusations. I don't know if any of these are true, but if true, in what she just said, fuck Academics, you deserve to be in jail. You a whole bitch ass nigga. And it's not the first time you've been called a bitch. So you know that you a bitch ass nigga.
I really think you a bitch. Because
in what sense?
Because
if all that shit is true, man, fuck Academics. He deserves not only this second L, but he deserves to be in jail. Because fuck that shit. And you can kind of tell in her eyes that she was dead ass serious. And again, she could be capping for all I know as well, but I don't believe that she was capping. I believe her. So fuck Academics if he did that shit.
Lock his ass up. Lock his ass up. You're going to jail. You're going to jail.
Next L is going to another fucking grifter out here, y'all. Dr. Umar. Dr. Umar made a huge splash by being on the Joe Budden podcast because essentially all he did during the time was argue with the niggas on the Joe Budden podcast, which I find hilarious because of course he did. But one thing that Dr. Umar did that I don't find funny or don't find correct in the first place is that he accused Vanessa Bryant of not using Kobe Bryant's money to do good in the black community. Let's watch this clip.
Kobe Bryant.
Let me ask you a question.
Kobe Bryant.
I want to ask you a question.
Kobe Bryant died. Vanessa inherited his wealth.
Sure.
And guess what? Is Vanessa Bryant using any of that black man's money to do any good in the black community?
Let me ask you a question.
Absolutely fucking not.
We don't know
Vanessa
that.
Bryant. Listen,
I don't know.
I'm telling you. Vanessa
Question.
Bryant just started an initiative with 3 predominantly white colleges, some sort of a sports initiative with Kobe's money in Kobe's name, didn't choose a single HBCU.
You're being unfair.
I'm being unfair how?
No, let me tell you why.
Expecting white women to use black money to help black people?
No.
How is that unfair?
If
I marry a white woman, when I die, my wealth goes to the very people who have robbed everything from my community.
It's not true. But you are not on here pocket watching a widow. You are not on here pocket watching a widow that just lost her husband not too long ago. You are not on here pocket watching the widow of a hero in the black community. I know you're not doing that. I know you're not doing that. But since you are, the Kobe and Vanessa Bryant Foundation alone focuses on youth homelessness. So much so that on their website, they add some key facts about homelessness and highlight the fact that 42% of the people that are homeless in Los Angeles are African American. So she's not doing anything, absolutely nothing for the black community? Okay, all right. What about the fact that in 2007, Kobe and Vanessa established the Kobe and Vanessa Bryant Foundation that offered scholarships to minority college students and the youth globally? Okay, minority college students, none of those students were black? Okay, all right. What about the fact that, as you alluded to, Vanessa has announced the 6 universities that will partner with the Mamba and Mambacita Sports Foundation as official Nike Kobe schools. Those 6 schools are the University of Connecticut, USC, Kentucky, Oregon, Duke, and LSU. Now, you're absolutely right. Those are not HBCUs, and none of them are HBCUs. You're absolutely right about that. I would have to assume that those are schools that are already sponsored by Nike. Let's go further into it. The partnership is part of the sports company's relaunch of the Kobe line, which kicked off last month. According to Complex, the Halo Kobe 8 sneaker will be released every August 23rd to commemorate the late basketball player's birthday. Basketball players such as Angel Reese and Bronny James will wear Kobe Bryant and Gigi shoes throughout the upcoming season. Bryant started the Mamba and Mambacita Sports Foundation in honor of Kobe and their daughter Gigi. The Mamba and Mambacita Sports Foundation is a nonprofit organization dedicated to creating positive impact for underserved athletes and boys and girls in sports, founded through the vision and loving memory of Kobe and Gigi Bryant. Underserved athletes and boys and girls. Again, what do we think that is, Umar? Do we think that none of those underserved athletes are black? Never mind none of that, because none of that matters. You don't get to come out here and pocket watch a widow like that. You just don't. But besides that fact, she is out here doing things for black people. So don't get it twisted. Not only black people, but black people, Hispanic people, minorities, underserved kids, things of that nature. Yeah, you don't get to get out here and start pocket watching widows. But on top of that, fam, you have way bigger things to be worried about. Supposedly, your school is built and it's going to start September 3rd. You have way bigger things to be worried about because you took a lot of people's money. They're going to be looking for some kind of return on investment to this. You start September 3rd. We better see some positive impact coming from your school. That's all I'm saying. See how I can demand of you without throwing you under the bus? I just want your school to have some sort of impact. That's all. That's all I'm asking. September 3rd, 2024. Your school started. There's no bullshit with contractors. I better see something out of this. She didn't donate to my imaginary school, my brother. The school is real, supposedly. The school is real. I looked it up before doing the pod. So that's where I saw that the date is supposedly September 3rd. So come September 3rd, we need to hold that man accountable. A medium-sized school was built 1 block from where I live. It was finished within a year. It was finished within a year? Because didn't he talk about the contractors like 3 years ago? That can't be right. That can't be right. But also, where do you live? Where is the school? I'm in Madison, Wisconsin. Oh, word. I know some people out in Madison. Okay, so then he started the school in Madison. Are we holding him accountable? Are we holding him accountable on September 3rd? You got to give me some kind of update on that. That's all I'm saying. I'm giving an L to the fact that Comic Town, which is a pretty prominent comic book store here in Columbus, has had to close their doors. Definitely not a good thing that any comic book store has to close down their stores, but you know, I know Marcus went there to go get some of his comic books. I know that I've gone there as a kid. I tell this story to Marcus all the time, but I went there as a kid to get the little sheets for a binder to put all my Pokemon cards in. That was like a really cool thing when we were kids. So shout out to Comic Town. I'm sad to see it go as well. This is just a little bit of their letter. Hi, everybody. There's no easy way to say this, so I will just put it out into the universe. The shop will be closing its doors forever at the end of December. And, you know, obviously, because of the way that the comic book industry is going, you know, they had to shut down their store. So, sucks to see a prominent fixture in the comic book community, you know, obviously close their doors. And hopefully, you know, something happens with that. But hashtag long live Comic Town. That is my dubs. That is my L's. But I got a couple of toss-ups. My first toss-up goes to the fact that even though I don't fuck with him all like that anymore, Chris Rock has the chance to do the funniest thing ever. Apparently, Chris Rock and Amber Rose are out here getting close to one another. That's nuts. That's just nuts. And if you're aware, there is a song on Kanye's album called Blame Game where he does the skit at the very end where the infamous Yeezy taught me quote came from. I just think if Chris Rock and Amber Rose were to actually date, that'd probably be one of the funniest things I could think of. I hope it doesn't happen because I don't want Chris Rock to do the funniest thing. But yeah, apparently they're stepping out in New York together. And after Christmas too, I mean, you found time to hang out with Amber Rose after Christmas. They might be doing something, y'all. They might be doing something. That's all I'm saying. All right. Another one of my toss-ups, and my last toss-up, my last story of the week, goes to the fact that The Breakfast Club reportedly got its new permanent co-host to replace Angela Yee. The reason I'm giving it a toss-up is because who the fuck didn't see this coming? Who the hell didn't see this coming? Fam, you mean to tell me that y'all got Jess Hilarious to replace Angela Yee? The same Jess Hilarious that's been on the show for like a majority of the time since Angela Yee left? I think there's more weeks with Jess Hilarious than there are weeks just with Envy and Charlamagne. I'm just going to be honest with you. Who didn't see this fucking coming? That's all I want to know. There wasn't even a point to put out a press release over this because I thought she was already the host, to be honest with you. Just me personally. I just kind of assumed, I guess. But I'm also giving it a toss-up because I'm glad that they found a replacement for Angela Yee. That's great for them and their dynamic, I guess. But they're going to have to find a new host to replace DJ Envy once he goes to jail because it's not looking good for bro. It's looking absolutely terrible for bro. So we'll see what they do when that comes to pass. But that is my dubs and L's. Make sure that you guys subscribe to the channel. If you haven't already, make sure that you comment your thoughts on the W's and L's. Like I said, Marcus gave me a couple of W's and L's. So drop in the chat or in the comments below what you thought his W's and L's were. And then on that note, we are out.